Hello guys, welcome to this new video on deep learning in Keras and TensorFlow. So what we will be doing in this video is that we will be working on a very famous deep learning API, that is Keras, and we will be implementing and predicting from the very famous MNIST dataset, which is like a collection of handwritten numbers, and we'll be predicting it using a multi-layer perceptron and decide what number is thrown at the output. So for implementing a multi-level perceptron, first you need to know what a neuron actually is. So this is like a basic structure of a neuron where you have some inputs, like here in the case we have x1, we have x2, we have x3, and then we have some weights, that is w1, w2, w3, that actually gets multiplied with the input, that is x1, x2, x3, and then we have like a function. Now this function can be a stepper function or anything that gets activated based on the data it receives from the input, and finally it throws us some output that can either be 0 or 1. So this is a neuron at the most basic level, and now we will see how a multi-layer perceptron neural network actually works. So this is the exact working of a multi-layer perceptron neural network. So what it actually does is that it takes in handwritten numbers that are in the form of images. Then what we do is that we flatten all the pixels from the image and we make it throw onto the input layer of this multi-layer neural network, and this layer is also called as the input layer. Then we have some hidden layer, or which can also be called as the dense connected layer. Now these are called as dense connected layer because all the values from the inputs are like connected to each node of this network. And finally we have the output layer, which is like going to predict the number of outcomes. So the data set that we will be using is the MNIST data set, which has handwritten numbers from 0 to 9. So in this case you can imagine that we have an output layer which has around 10 total nodes, that is from 0 to 9. So now let's quickly start with the project itself. So before starting with the project, I would like to give you some introduction about the libraries that we will be using in this video. So we will be specifically working on Keras, which is a very famous deep learning library which sits on top of tensor processing library that is provided by Google, that is TensorFlow. The thing is that there are also other tensor processing libraries like PyTorch, but TensorFlow is somehow like very famous and you have more developers working on TensorFlow. However, I feel that PyTorch is also a very good library and you should also try the same project with PyTorch too. So one more thing I would like to clear is that neither Keras nor TensorFlow is exactly like, it is not Python exactly. These are deep learning APIs which have support for Python, and since Python is a very readable and developer friendly language, so just that we are using TensorFlow and Keras into Python. But there is also support for other languages, like you have support for TensorFlow, Keras in R, you have support for them in C++, and the latest that we are seeing nowadays is for JavaScript. Specifically for this video, we will be writing the code on Keras and TensorFlow, which will be based on Python. So we are working into the Jupyter environment where TensorFlow doesn't come pre-installed, but you need to install it. And if you want to know how to install packages like TensorFlow and all, so I have already made videos for that on my channel, go check it out. So we will quickly import all the dependencies that we require. So we have imported specially NumPy, Matplotlib for viewing purpose, and from the TensorFlow we have imported Keras for our project. So if you wish to see for the version of TensorFlow, we will just import TensorFlow again and check out the version for TensorFlow. Let's quickly load the dataset, MNIST dataset, and the best thing is that Keras already has the dataset in it, so we will directly load it from the Keras into a variable or an object. So after the dataset is loaded into the MNIST, what we'll do is that we'll create 4 variables here. That will be the for X train, Y train, X test, Y test. So the thing is that since we have MNIST dataset provided directly in the Keras module, in the real world example, whenever you are solving for or working on other high-end networks like convolutional neural networks or recurrent neural networks, so it is not going to be as easy as shown in this video, because the data here is packed very nicely into the Keras module and we can split it easily. So we'll first split it into xtrain, ytrain, xtest, ytest, and we'll load it into them using the load data method. So once the variables are loaded with the data, we will try to look at how the data actually looks. So since we have loaded the data in the xtrain for the training purpose, so we'll just print out a single variable from the xtrain object that we have, and we are going to see for the 0th index. So you can see here that we are like getting a multi-dimensional array, but actually what this array is, it is an image of a handwritten number that is inside the MNIST dataset, and it is like very difficult to visualize it in this way. So better that we go for the matplotlib IamShow method and see what exactly is inside the xtrain variable. So this is how the image actually looks in the training data set. So this is just one image, that is the first one inside the training data set. So for the simplicity, what we'll do is that we'll just change it into black and white. So for that we'll change the color map in the PLT module. So we write PLT dot color map equal to binary and rerun this thing. So we get everything in black and white. This is a part of the feature part, and what the label actually is. So we see what the label is for the same X part. We have a Y part too, so we'll see what is inside the label. So we get a phi here because this is a handwritten phi image. Since we are working on images, we have to throw this image onto a neural network. So it is a better idea that what we do is that we try to normalize this image. And if you are not familiar with normalizing anything, so normalizing is the pixel values which are like between 0 to 255. So what we do is that we try to convert them in from 0 to 1, or we can also go for -1 to 1. So that is just normalization, like we bring all the values from a certain point to a specific scale. So for doing the same, we have like a special method provided in Keras directly, which will directly normalize the matrices for us. We'll just write xtrain and we do the same thing with the xtest too, because we need to normalize the testing images too, like the one we did in the training images. Since we have now normalized the image, so now we try to look at the same image again. We just copy these two lines again and paste it here, and now you can see the all the pixel values of the images, they have now normalized and they are like in between 0 to 1, and none of the pixel value is like greater than 1 here. And but the final result of the image, it is still looking like a phi. So normalizing has not resulted into much loss of data for the specific image. So in the PPT, what I had shown you that we have input layer here, then we have two dense layers, and then we have the final layer. So this is like a kind of a sequential model. To build a sequential model in Keras, so we'll simply write tf dot. So what this exactly does is that it tells our system that the model is going to be a sequential model, and a sequential model is nothing but where all the data is going from one end to the other end, and the data is not coming backwards in the neural network. Next layer that we need to add to our model is the flattening layer. Why? Because As you saw in this slide, again we are going to pass this image into our neural network. So the neural network, the input layer is a single data layer, so we cannot like pass a 28 by 28 image into it, so it should be a single layer. So for that, what we'll do is that we'll convert. If you multiply 28 into 28, what we get is 784. So we'll convert it into a single array that will have the dimension of 1 into 784, and we'll just throw this image to the input layer. So for that, Keras actually provides us with a layer very easily. It is called as the flatten layer. So we add it to our network. So this one line of code, with it will directly pick in the image, it will flatten it into a single array, and it will throw that same data into the further hidden layers of the model. So the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to add two dense layers, and the dense layers will be having, they are like fully connected dense layers. That means that each node connects to the prior and the subsequent node, and the activation function that we are going to use is the ReLU function, that is also known as rectified linear. For time being, when because you are starting with Keras, you should keep the activation function the same. Once you have like mastered Keras, you can also try for other activation functions. So similarly, we'll add one more dense layer here, which will also have 128 nodes and will be using the same activation function. So we have two dense layers here. And finally, we have the output layer that we want. Now, since in the input data, we have like images which are of handwritten digits from 0 to 9, that is a total number of 10 digits. So in the final layer, we'll keep only 10 nodes, which will predict for each and every output that we require. So now our model is ready. So now we just need to compile our model, and then we need to fit the data into it. So for compiling the model in Keras, you have like model.compile, and we'll be specifying the optimizer, then we'll be specifying the loss, and then we'll be specifying the metrics, which are like attributes to this compile method. So for optimizer, we'll be using Adam. We'll specify the loss, which will be of sparse categorical cross entropy, and we'll provide the metrics as accuracy. Now we have compiled our model. Actually, what a neural network does is that it doesn't aim for a higher accuracy, but it aims for a lower loss, and this is how it tries to fit data into it. And like neural networks are very good in fitting data, so sometimes we face a problem of overfitting. There are solutions to it, like fine tuning the model. So we'll see that future videos, but for this video, like we'll go for direct fitting of the data. So we'll simply fit the data onto the model that we have built till now. So for that, we have the fit method, and what we are going to provide is the training part of the images, that is all the images in the training data which have been splitted into like 50-50% by Keras itself using the load data method, and then we provide the labels to the training data. And the third aspect is the epochs, like this is the number of times you want to train the neural network, so that it actually optimizes the weight that is shown in this connections that we have between the layers. So for this video, we'll be specifying the number of epochs equal to 3, and we fit the data. Finally, you can see that in the third epoch, we got a loss of around 2.2852, like this is very small. Now in the last part, what we'll do is that we are going to print the loss that we have and also the accuracy, and for that also we have like a special method provided by Keras. So we specify the loss and we specify the accuracy, and then we evaluate the performance of the model onto the testing data that we have inside the test. and the testing labels that we have inside the y test. And what we do is that we simply print both the variables, that is the loss and the accuracy. So actually what we get here is that the total loss that we have incurred, so we get a loss of around 2.30. So this is like very less loss, and we are like getting a model that is like 98% accurate in predicting on the testing data. So since our model is now ready, so what we can do is that we'll just save our model. So it will save all the weights also inside the file of the model, and we can just reload it whenever we want instead of writing the whole code, and we can directly do the predictions. So for saving the model, we have the model.save that is also provided in Keras, and we'll just save it with my name. So we have now saved the model. So it's time to make some predictions. So what we'll do is that we'll just load it inside again a new variable, and simply we'll be loading our model into this variable. Our model is now loaded, so we declare another variable for making predictions. The prediction that we are going to make is going to be on the testing data that we have already splitted. So based on the new model that we have, we call the predict method, and we pass in the argument of xtest, that is like going to have the testing images. So this prediction variable, like it is going to have the predictions of all the testing data that we have provided into the xtest here as an argument. So what we'll do is that we'll like kind of print only the prediction that we wish to see here. So I will just use the numpy argmax function to see the prediction, which will provide us with the maximum argument and print the exact prediction that we want. So we call the argmax, and what we pass in is the predictions, which has like all the predictions of the xtest, and we go and print the third one only. It shows that the third prediction is 0 in to see the exact image that is inside the xtest, to confirm whether our model is working fine or not. You can see that it was actually a 0, and our prediction also showed that it was a 0. So this proves that like the model is like very adequate and it can predict the images pretty well. So we'll just confirm it by changing the variable. So it's 1, and we do the same thing. So it again shows that it was a 1. So we'll see the project from the start itself. What we exactly did in the project is that first we installed the dependencies, we saw the version of TensorFlow that we will be using, then we loaded the data set of MNIST, that was the handwritten images, into the variable called as MNIST. Then what we did is that we just like splitted the data into the training and testing part into 4 variables: xtrain, ytrain, xtest and ytest, and this was done using the load method. And then we tried to see what was inside the first image of the xtrain using the 0th index location. So it showed us a multidimensional matrix where each and every value represented the pixel of the image, and to visualize it we used the pltim show method, and it showed us that it was a phi, and we used the color map of binary. Then we confirmed it using the label from the same dataset, and we saw that it was a phi. Then what we did is that we like normalized each and every pixel value. For that we used the Keras provided normalize function. So once the data was normalized, then we went for building the model. So the model was a sequential model. Then we added a layer that will just flatten the data from the input image. Then we added 2 dense layers which had like activation function of ReLU, and finally we added the final layer which had like the activation function of softmax regression, which was like going to predict which of the image is going to come inside our final prediction from the input test data that we provide. Then we compiled our model using the Adam optimizer. We used the loss, and we provided like it as sparse categorical cross entropy, and we were like fitting it onto the matrix of accuracy. Then we fitted the model using the X train and Y train, and we used the number of epochs, that is number of times the training should happen was equal to 3. And finally we like evaluated our model using the evaluate method that we have, and we printed the actual calculated loss and the actual calculated accuracy. So we found that the loss was around 2%, and we got a model that was like 97% accurate in predicting the number. Then we saved the model into a variable, then we loaded the model again into a new object, and we used the load model method here. Then what we did is that we introduced a new prediction variable, and using the same model that we created, we predicted all the data of the X test into the variable. Then we printed the predictions, and we again got like a multi-dimensional matrix which has like all the images of the X test, but to see the image for a particular argument, so we use the numpy argmax method here to see the prediction second image that we have inside this multidimensional array. And it showed that it was a 1, and to confirm it we used the PLT IMShow on the X test exactly, and it also showed that it was a 1. So I hope that all the code that I showed you is clear to you, and like this video has helped you to get started with Keras, and I hope that you will build the same model on your end, and feel free to write any difficulty that you like face in creating a same model at your end. And I'm pretty sure that now you will be feeling comfortable to go with Keras. And you should also note that we have not seen like all the functions like max pooling. It was not in the scope of this video, so we'll surely do some other videos where we will be covering the convolutional neural networks as well as the recurrent neural networks. And if you like my work, please do hit the like, share and subscribe button.